Hi there, my name's Yovksa, and I'm Toronto's resident drag creature. I like to get into these ridiculous costumes and, spook the internet.
And now you're Now Magazine readers' best artist Instagram account.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Yeah, it's like been such a journey, I guess, since I started doing this and since I started like uploading photos to Instagram, like on a weekly basis and just thinking, oh, well, what am I gonna wear next? So I guess it's like really cool now to get that sort of recognition, and like have my fans support me in that way.
Do you have a sense of what in particular people really find endearing about your drag?
It's really funny, I feel like for the most part, they'll see my stuff and they'll be like, oh, like, what am I looking at, So that's kind of like the reaction I try to go for in case someone doesn't know who I am. So, always like kind of a little bit shock-provoking or a little bit thought-provoking, trying to weird people out a little bit. I really like to, bother people, I guess, in that sort of sense.
What do you like about monsters and paranormal and this whole kind of aesthetic, I guess, or look?
I feel like I can really relate to them. Growing up as queer, as immigrant, I always felt a little bit out of place. So, when I thought of aliens coming from another planet, and people, oh, they're like, oh, that's a weird creature or something, I felt like I could relate to them on some sort of level. And so it kind of became a little bit of an obsession, I guess, where I just really, would like to read more about them and find out more about them. Like, oh, and what is this cryptid? And, what does this creature do? And this and this and this. And I guess in some sense, I eventually started seeing myself as them sometimes. And I mean, I haven't always done drag, but I would always do a lot of self-portraits, or, my art would always be surrounding my identity. When I started doing drag, it kind of became the perfect venue for this kind of stuff, right?
It's interesting because you think sometimes when you think of like outsider stories and fairy tales or folklore, like say like the Little Mermaid, it's like the mermaid wants to become part of the human world, but you're kind of doing the opposite, where you're kind of leaning into the kind of monster world or the paranormal world.
Yeah, I would love to drag people into my dimension.
Do you have any specific references that maybe are more apparent to you than others? Like one thing that does jump out at me is Pan's Labyrinth, and especially the pointy fingers and so forth that you have. Is cinema like part of your...
I mean, yeah, like definitely cinema. Like I'm definitely a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro's work, 100%. I find a lot of inspiration in like artists like Lee Bowery, which was, he was an artist like back in the 90s, and he would wear a lot of outlandish costumes with masks and things like that. Klaus Nomi, Bjork, artists that really, like, I guess, push the envelope when it comes to costume and fashion, and what, how weird can we get with this stuff,
Obviously, Canada's drag race is here. It was like such a big deal this year. Do you feel like there is room in the kind of like drag race world for drag performers like yourself?
That's an interesting question. I'm not really sure, I guess I wouldn't really know unless I like tried for it. But it's interesting to see more and more, more kind of like I guess alternative performers or more niche performers with like really set aesthetics going for competitions like that. So I think time will tell. I think we'll start seeing more and more, I guess, diversity in that sort of a realm, because that's where drag, I think, is headed as well. I think drag is becoming like just a bunch of different characters instead of like a certain set look or a certain set of aesthetics.
Any final thoughts or anything you want to share with people before we wrap it up?
Yes. So if you turn off the lights in your room and you look under your bed and you yell Yovksa 3 times, I may or may not appear.
What happens if you appear?
I will go into your fridge and eat all of your mayonnaise.